We're introducing a new segment tonight, one in which I play a judge. Isn't that frightening? We're calling it The Arbiter. I forgot my gavel. They didn't let me check it on the overhead on United, so I don't have the gavel. I have it back in Washington. But as you can see, we're here in LA and currently one of the hottest markets for marijuana. The city's lawmakers recently approved new rules to regulate and legitimize the cannabis industry ahead of January's full legalization of recreational use in the state of California. In tonight's Arbiter segment, attorney Leo Terrell thinks marijuana legalization should be expanded even further than it is, and he joins with me in studio and in D.C., Horace Cooper, the co-chair of Project 21, a black conservative leadership network, takes the opposing view. Okay, gentlemen, first Arbiter segment. Don't be nervous now.
Oh, I won't.
All right, Leo, why should marijuana use be legal and expanded?
Your Honor, very simply, the federal rules are outdated. Who's better to know than the states? Let the states decide. And you know what? Marijuana should be decriminalized. It has been. Several states allow it to be used legally for recreational use because it's no longer the boogeyman. It doesn't lead to harder crimes. It's not the situation where marijuana leads to harder crimes or cocaine. I'm submitting to you that the states are in the better position to regulate it, take the criminal element out of it. It is the best for the states to do it, and I know you agree with this. Let's not have Washington in charge of what goes on in every state.
Today's marijuana is not the marijuana of the Woodstock day. It's a much more potent, much more powerful. The THC levels of marijuana smoked all those years ago, about 11% weaker on average. And Colorado is reporting 32% increase in marijuana-related traffic deaths from 2013. It goes on and on. Increase in marijuana-related hospital stays, increase in marijuana-related emergency room visits. That's what we need more of in America?
I'm glad you asked. I read that same article. You know what? Even though, let's deal with those traffic accidents. Even though they said there was a higher use of people using marijuana, they're not saying that the causation of the traffic accidents were caused by marijuana. I read that same exact article.
So all those things are okay. Horace, you get your opening statement.
It's not about whether it's the federal government or whether the state government. The real question is, what's its impact on our local communities? And if you're coming up with a program for making sure that our working class, our communities of color, and many areas in the inner city just get lost because they're left behind because of the baleful effects of marijuana, legalization is the way to do that. Every study shows that you see a decline in academic performance. A larger number of people who participate regularly are showing they are not graduating from high school. We are now in a situation in America where for graduate school STEM, that's science, technology, engineering, and mechanical, a majority of those graduates are foreigners, because Americans aren't available to step up to the plate. We should not be doing things that have a clear correlation to failure in the academic world, as well as helping people get on the track to self-responsibility and independence.
Horace, my follow-up to you is, I think a lot of that is true. However, alcohol causes huge problems. We had prohibition. That didn't work. So why not try to take the criminal element out of this and legalize it? That way you can have more educational campaigns and get people on the same page.
See, this isn't about whether or not it is criminalized. The question is this glamorization that's occurring, and that is something I've watched the pot cheerleaders like Leo go around saying what a wonderful thing this is, and our young people, our working class people, people who really need to stay on track. More employers than ever in 2017 are drug testing. What does that mean? You play around with this and you prevent yourself from being able to get that first good job and to earn that opportunity for independence.
He makes an interesting argument about the youth, especially, and the studies now being done by the psychiatric sources and professors psychiatric disorders, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia. There is increasing body of evidence that indicates there is a correlation, especially in the developing mind. So with all the challenges, Leo, we have in this country today, why would increasing the use of marijuana, which it does among young people when you legalize it, why would that be good for society? Forget about the semantic arguments about states' rights versus the federal government. For society, given the medical evidence that is mounting out there.
Good question. Public health survey came out in Colorado, the state that you cited earlier, said that even though the increased use of marijuana has done what? Reduced the amount of opioid use. That's a significant factor. All the big issue in this country about opioids, the marijuana reduction has made a significant impact on that. And for him to sit there, Laura, and say that he represents 21 states, there are people who want this.
Oh, big money wants it. Big weed is how billions and billions of dollars are on the line.
The Gallup polls are very clear.
Right. Oh, yeah.
People want this.
You know,
so what's wrong with that?
We'll see, because Colorado is suffering. They're getting a lot of money from the taxes on marijuana, but they're getting a lot of problems, too. I'll give you the last word, and you can wrap up, Horace, and I'm going to give you my verdict.
The National Institutes for Health has done study after study over the last decade in which they show if you want to achieve lower graduation rates, if you want to achieve lower performance levels on IQ tests, if you want to minimize people's achievement, marijuana is a great way to accomplish that. We are on a global stage where the competition is severe, and we need to be getting every single American geared to play their part rather than doing things that distract, particularly in the inner city where we have so many people that are suffering the gaps from the last 10 years of the recession. Why would we add more shackles to people? Why wouldn't we be trying to encourage them?
Okay,
I say a campaign for math.
All right, I have to give my ruling now.
Please.
Both of you did a good job, and if I were a jury, I might be hung right now. But I'm a judge. This is a bench trial. It's a bench trial. So.
Please, please.
Petitioner Horace. I'm sorry, Horace Cooper wins. Horace Cooper wins it. Sorry. The verdict goes to Horace, but again, if it was a jury, it would be hung. You both did a nice case presentation.
Thank you. I tried.
Gentlemen, you both did a great job. It's a really important topic, and a lot of lives are being changed, and a lot of tax dollars are being collected. We're going to continue this.